Hello everyone. We recently purchased a new car when we got here to England, and we're going to go over um, what you should do, the process for purchasing a UK spec vehicle, and what you need to know. The first thing you're going to want to do is check out the vehicle before you buy it. Walk around the car, check the tires, lift the hood, check the engine, check all the electronics, make sure that the electronics are working. Listen to the engine, make sure there's no weird sounds, bangs, thumps. Just make sure in general it sounds good. And then of course take it for a test drive. Now when you get here, your US driver's license is valid to drive on the roads here. So you can feel free to drive. It is a little nerve-wracking. My first time driving was a little confusing, and you know, you got to stay on the left side of the road. You got all these weird signs that you're not used to in the States. The roads have very abrupt edges, so there's not a lot of leniency. So just make sure that you stay pretty much close to the center line, but on your side of the center line, and you'll be fine. Now, when you do decide to make a purchase, you're going to need the V5C, which is the Vehicle Registration Certificate. It's very easy to acquire. You just go to uk.gov, and you can basically fill out the form when you are purchasing it, and the seller is going to give you a little slip off of the form. You have to keep that in your possession until yours arrives in the mail. It took us about 5 days from the time that I filled it out online and said that I had purchased the car till when I received my new V5C, which is the title. When you are checking out the car, after you've done the inspections, but before you decide to purchase it, you do need to validate and verify that the MOT is valid. That's the Ministry of Transportation, and you can just go to the website, uk.gov, and check out and make sure that the MOT is valid. The MOT consists of pretty much a full service inspection annually accomplished on the vehicle. It records anything wrong with the car throughout its entire history. One of the things that we noticed on some of the cars we were looking up, if there was any issues at all, it would say it. So one of the car had a problem with the windshield washer fluid, and that was in the history of one of the cars that we looked at several years ago. So that has to be fixed before the MOT will be valid and the car is allowed to be driven on the road. There are 4 things that you must have when you're driving a car on the road. Otherwise, the cops can run your tag, and if one of these 4 things is not valid, they can impound your car and crush it. So you need to make sure that your MOT is valid. You need to make sure that your road tax is paid. That just is allowing you to, drive the car. You need to have your V5C, and you need to have car insurance. Now, all of those things need to be valid before you start driving the car. Make sure that it is, and then once you do decide to purchase the car, all that stuff needs to be implemented before you ever get behind the wheel. If the car is found on the road, it can be legally impounded and crushed. The MOT is something that is required for vehicles that are older than 3 years. So if it's a brand new car and you're buying from a dealership, you're good for the first 3 years. It's pretty much guaranteed. Now, to get insurance on a UK spec vehicle for an American, there's 2 major American car insurance companies. You can go with USAA if you're military, or Geico. Both of them are pretty good. They're both, it's more expensive here in the UK than it is in the States, but they're both pretty good companies that are pretty easy to get insurance with. I'm sure there are also local insurance companies in the UK that will insure you, but since we had previously worked with Geico and USAA, I felt comfortable just continuing with them when we bought a new car. Another thing to consider is if you do have children and you're using car seats. If you are driving in the UK and you have a US spec car, then you are required to use US spec car seats. If you're using a UK vehicle, that's what you're driving, you need to have UK spec car seats. So your car seats are not interchangeable between the cars. You will need it'll have a stamp, like a yellow stamp if it is for the UK, and it'll state if it's for US. So you will have to acquire 2 sets of car seats if you're driving both a US and a UK vehicle while you're here. The car tax or road tax is also the vehicle excess duty, the VED. It needs to be paid basically to register this car and to drive it on the road. It has to be done before you start driving on the road. You also want to keep in mind that while you're driving in the UK, that you will encounter many things that you're not used to seeing in the United States. So you're going to have various signs. A lot of the signs with a red triangle around them are going to be informational warning signs that tell you certain things, like give way is the same as yield. You're going to have signs that are with a circular with a red border around them. Those are prohibitive signs. They'll say things like, no vehicles on this path. It's for pedestrians only. Or if it's a one-way street, it'll have a circle with a red line through it, meaning do not enter. So you need to get familiar with these road signs. You're also going to have blue road signs, and those are more informative, and they just kind of tell you what to do. So it's pretty intuitive, but they are different. So make sure you get familiar with what the road signs mean. This whole process of buying a new car, once we decided to buy a new car, the seller brought their V5C from their vehicle. I wrote a check, signed the V5C, took ownership of it. It also acts as the bill of sale. And then I went online and updated it and said that the title had been transferred. That took about 5 minutes. To get the road tax took about another 5 minutes. And then to call and get insurance took a little while. But within an hour, everything was paid and we were on our way. And all of this before I even had gotten my driver's license in the UK. Now, to acquire your driver's license, if you are in the military and you're PCSing, it's very easy. You're going to go to the MPF at your RAF location, and there you will take a written practical test. So you'll take the written test and study for it a little bit, but once you take the test, if you passed, they print out your card and you're good to go. And this will also allow you to purchase gas on the bases, because without your driver's license, you are able to drive in the UK, but you have to purchase gas outside. Once you have passed your driver's license test, you can purchase gas on the base. It is tax-free. So to fill up my car that I purchased is about $35 on base. Off base, it's closer to $100 because you pay pounds sterling per liter. And a liter is slightly more than what a gallon would cost on the base. Everyone, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And if you are coming this way, safe travels, and hopefully the corona pandemic will end soon so we can all get out there and enjoy our time here traveling around Europe. Thanks again. Goodbye.